What is up, guys? Welcome back to the GTE podcast, where we talk everything about bikini and wellness, things in the fitness industry, and things that we can learn on how to be better from. And the only way you get better is how to be better and be greater than before. So today we're going to recap the Wellness Olympia 2024. We're going to talk about why the people placed the way they placed, what can they do to improve, and how to be better than before. My initial thought on this Wellness Olympia was I felt everybody who placed was justified. It was correct. They got it right. And I believe so, especially with how I hope the direction of wellness is going to more, of this streamlined physique, more of this attainable look, even though it's mostly based on the Brazilian body. And, 1/3 of the lineup was Brazilians. I think they had 12, I believe, out of the 37 that were qualified. But I felt like they wanted to make sure that when they place the girls play the way they place, they make sure that they're in line with the criteria, who's close to, the criteria, especially with our top six, especially with everyone from 7 to 15th. Yes, there were some disappointments. Yes, there was some, ups and downs through this whole year. And I felt like one thing that a lot of girls can take from this is, getting more learning experience and getting more experience on stage. Cause I felt like a lot of the girls that qualified, they were one and done. They just wanted their Olympia qualification. They're done. So there's two things about that I would say is one, I understand because wellness carries more muscle than bikini. So it can wear on you a bit. But two, there a lot of the girls were in lineups that I felt like they weren't really challenged, they weren't really tested. But when they got to the Olympia, this was a deep lineup and there was a lot of pressure. And I think the best way you're going to learn is to be tested and be put under pressure, especially going into big shows and not just winning small little shows. Because I feel like you want to be in the top 10, you have to be uncomfortable with being comfortable and you have to put yourself out there more than ever. And I definitely think you got to be recognized now more than ever, especially in front of these top judges, so that you can learn how to be better and get feedback from our judges like Sandy, like Tyler, like Becky. I did speak with some judges after the show, and they said that there were girls who I felt like they could have been higher than how they placed had they just had more experience or they felt more confident. Because I felt like the two girls that were first-time Olympians, first year in the IFBB Pro League, that they placed, they got into those situations. They knew what it was like, but one of them could have been better had they not been so nervous. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about our winner, Issa. Now, she brought a very great package. And I will say this is wellness. With her and Francielli, they've been battling each other for years. I did remember at the press conference, she said that she's been in wellness for over 9 years. So you kind of see the difference of experience level with her and other pros. Issa, Francielli, Hayani, Giselle, they've been in wellness since it was even in the IFBB Pro League. So you kind of see who's been doing this for some time, who poses much better, who's more confident, and who's more comfortable on stage. And Issa's young and she's been doing this for some time now. What I like about is her lower body is much more bigger than her upper body. She's not too big, not too jacked up top. Her shoulders are not super capped like a bikini, but it's good enough. And her she has good midsection, good abs. She has a longer torso, she has shorter legs, but she's very well put together. And I gotta say this, it was a great front pose on her. Now I would say Francielli does beat her in some areas, but let me show you her back pose. This was like full balance, way more better and developed than I've seen when she started. I think it was 2021 was her first one. Yeah, that was her, this is her fourth one. But she has grown so much and she's improved a lot. And I said last year that she probably has the most potential to be Miss Wellness Olympian. She went from third, second to first within a span of 4 years. And she's been taking second to Francielli for the past since 22 and 23. She took second. There was a 1 point difference between them. And that Arnold, even though it was a little setback, because she had a lot of stress, she did play it out very well. And even though she was a little washed and really inflamed, it was not her best look. And I just think that it motivated her to go back to work and, get better. And I commend her and Gil Herme, her husband, and on what they have accomplished. But here's her back pose here in the Arnolds. She looks better conditioned here than she was at the Arnold's because I felt like she's just maybe a little inflamed. But yeah, I'm very happy, and I think a lot of girls have an Issa look with a shorter with longer torso, and like your Brunas and a couple other girls I'm probably gonna get to, but they have that similar look to her. Now, Franciali, I've said this about her, the way that she is born, she's just such a gifted athlete, and she's mastered her craft, and she has self-mastery with her posing, with her diet, nutrition, everything. She's world class. So this Olympia, I felt like there was she was very balanced from her upper and lower body. But when I look at her, she looks like wellness. This is when you think of a Brazilian body, and you think of that's what wellness is all about, because that's just how the way they're born. They're born with big lower bodies and small upper bodies. But it just felt like her upper and lower body were balanced. She really wasn't as tight as in the core as you might see. I'm going to show you her Arnold Classic look from the front. Here we go. See how snatched she is right here compared to here. You can kind of see her obliques pushing on her connectors. She was really small. This is like one of the best looks. Like this look would be winning every show. Her arms are a little smaller here. Her arms are a little bigger. Has a little vascularity right there. I like the red suit better than the blue. I will tell you this. I know Francielli because of her red suit, and that's her signature color. She should keep that. In the back, here's from the Arnold. Here's from the Olympia. I'll tell you this in person. She was much more leaner. When she was walking back, you kind of saw a little like leanness up here. Her hamstrings were dug in. Her vastus lateralis was dug in, but I felt like her glutes overpowered her legs here versus here. Her glutes kind of match her quad sweeps. Very well put together. I like the suit cut here better than her suit cut here. It felt like her suit was on her lower back. I don't know. She's with a different company. She was with Suitsu at one point. She's much more narrow and snatched here than much more wider here. I still think if she had won, it would have been fine, but I felt like the better physique had to win. And I remember just listening to Tyler, what he said about how she won. So I'll show you guys the difference between her and Issa and why they won. So here's from last year's quarter turns. They're much more comfortable, even though her legs were a little downsized, and that was the 1 point difference from 2023 to this year. You see, she's more confident in this one than she was in this. She was more confident in last year's Olympia than she was in this year's. It just felt like something was right. That her vastus lateralis right here, that was a deep cut. I saw it. Like being in that middle row, you saw it. She's kind of not like smiling. She's kind of like grimacing a bit versus here. Issa's like smiling, like she's just radiating. Your eyes go directly to her first. And I definitely think that, and she's more upright here with her longer torso versus here. And comparing their quarter turn to their last quarter turn from the previous year, you can definitely tell that they were kind of an even match. But I feel like the edge goes to Franciel, but something just felt like really off on Franciel because she's looking a little uncomfortable here versus Issa just playing the game out. It made her look a little wider. How she's doing it, how close her arm was, it just something felt uncomfortable. She's kind of like scrunched up. So that could have been. So I definitely think that was a deciding factor for Issa to be handed the win. And congratulations to her. And she worked for it. She's been taking second so many years, and she got the win. So third was probably the talk of the whole weekend, Eduarda. Now, this is a very pretty look, and I really like this physique. Like this physique says wellness all over it. I do think that she's going to have to just take more time just to grow into her physique. So here's the Olympia, and here's the RGV Classic in Texas. One thing I notice about her every show that she does is that she gradually gets better. She continues to learn. She continues to improve. Every show to me is like a learning experience. So she's like learning every time something about herself and going, okay, I'm going to do something differently. Oh, this was a mistake I made. And that was much better because when she won Colombia, she wasn't just, I'm one and done. She kept going and doing shows. She did Arizona, then she did this show, RGV. I do like the blue suit on her. I think it radiates her. I've seen red, I've seen green. I think those are her three colors, but I don't know. I just like the blue so much on her. Just that's her color. But we had so many reds this year. Um, Much better front pose right here. All right, and in the back, this is where I feel like this is where she really needs to improve on. Let me exit this one out. I just feel like her glute density needs to come up, and that's just going to be more time in the gym. I do also just have to say that she needs a new suit cut because that it's just way high on her iliac crest. It's just her connectors are so high, it's going past her iliac crest. It's just so much hip exposure. It's just like so much like upper glute. It's like on her tailbone. I think she really needs a new suit. You know, maybe get something American like Toxic Angels or Suits You. Use code J. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, look, she's in the best position for next year being automatically qualified, and you know, sky's the limit. I even told Nando Mora from Integra Medica from Brazil, like, look, if she does very well, I'm happy for her. I feel like if she had to be, but she had to be compared to, Hayani and Giselle, who are like more experienced, but she took it very well. She did very well, and I'm very happy for her. And if I'm her, I'm taking the whole year off just to focus on the Olympia because she has what it takes to overtake Isa and Franciel within a year or two. And I definitely think she's in that position to win it. I would not even do the Arnold. I wouldn't do any other show unless the prize money is pretty decent. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything. Just take more time in the gym, continue to grow, build my brand, be there for my sponsors. I really think that the sky's the limit for Eduarda, and she definitely is the future of wellness. And I even told her that in her Portuguese, and I gave her that necklace, and I said, "Hey, listen, you're the future of this division." And yeah, I look forward to many years and how young she is and how she continue to grow. Next up, Elisa. So something, I just feel like she just needs better makeup. First of all, I don't know why. I just think she needs to get with a makeup artist like Elaine, like V, like LeBeau, just to make her stand out. This purple suit, I don't know. I like the teal much better. I can show you which one I'm talking about. She did wear teal at the night show for finals. I just felt like she should have done that the whole time. I mean, she did wear royal blue, but I don't know. I like the teal and the royal much better than the purple. It feels like she's kind of balanced out. She kind of feels like a bigger bikini girl, but she's not bikini. She's not figure. I do not see her in those divisions at all. I just feel like she needs to just grow her leg size. She's 5'4", but she has longer legs. So it's just growing that out. But her physique is very comparable to like an all-time good Franciel because of their like torso size. But obviously making sure you're not too big in the shoulders. But she did come downsized a bit. But let me show you her back. I feel like her glutes kind of overtake her legs. I just feel like just a little more leg and it would have been much better. She has a really small waist. And I just think she needs to do something about her hair, just having it cover her back connectors. But this is an amazing physique. And I definitely think, she's going to get an Olympia qualification soon. But yeah, in New York, like I said, makeup is another thing. I do love the blue suit, but she kind of looked like semi-figure in here. But she just needs to, not train her arms as much and just bring it down a bit. So let me show you here. Like if she had some parts from here, from New York to the Olympia, would have been much better. But very beautiful girl. But let me show you in the back. I liked her hair here. See, that's what she has to do, have this kind of hair right here, but not on her lower back. But yeah, I felt like it was very well put together. She brought a good package, but obviously a lot of things to work on and can do better. And, fourth place is her lowest placing ever. She's never been lower than that, in every show. She's only been a pro for now a year. So she's just going to continue to learn and continue to get better. And she's not Brazilian and she's one of the most gifted athletes that I've ever seen. I mean, seeing her in person, it's just like, wow, this is insane. But here we go. This was her pro debut, which she won the amateur and the pro show in Colombia. Here's the Olympia from last year. But I definitely think it's just going to be refining the physique and just growing out her legs. But she's very well put together if you think about it. All right, next up, we have Giselle. I will tell you this, these pictures don't do her any justice. She is snatched. Like she has, like her waist is brought in. But I feel like, and she did bring her leg size down a bit so that she's not so big, because that was one thing that I said in 2023, that she kind of looked a little too big for wellness. Just needed to just tone it down a bit. Obviously bring down her arms as well. But I definitely said that if she can overtake Hayani, she would definitely be in that mix of being in those top 3 spots. And she did very well. And she's one of the best posers in it. I just think like she just needs to really bring up her leg size. Just bring up her leg size just a little bit. She's getting better. And she's obviously one of the best wellness pros, and she has been doing this for many years. I just think that she just needs to balance it out, and how she poses in the back. Cause this is no disrespect, but it kind of feels kind of squared off. She just has to have her, do things differently and have her glute drops come in the side profile. She did qualify at the Olympia Brazil. So she said that she probably won't do shows. She's just going to be focused on Olympia, but she's at this high level where she's already won 10 pro shows. This is her 5th Olympia in a row qualifying. She did qualify for the first one, but she just couldn't get here because of visa. But she's one of the most consistent pros in the wellness division. I definitely can see her moving up a couple of spots and, continuing to improve, and, giving a whole year off. She can do a whole lot in a whole year. Whether she chooses to do a show or not, that's on her. All right. Next up, we got Lisa. Now, she's had a lot of great shows this year. She's won 3 shows in a row, and especially winning the States. She won Legion, Texas, Tampa. I just think she needs to be better in her controlling her waist sometimes, but she has a really small waist. She's really short and come back, but a lot of the times European competitors come in way too hard. And like she's really pushing in that, conditioning level. But a great physique. I think she could have been high as 4th, and I definitely said that she's going to be in that top 10 spot. She went from 15th to 11th to now 6th. I mean, she keeps getting better every year, and I definitely think, with her being already qualified for next year, it's going to keep getting better. But here's her look from the Olympia. And then I felt like her best was probably Tampa. Yeah, she's more better in her waist here. She's not going too big. Let me see, Texas. But also keep, bring down her shoulder size a bit. See, Legion. Like I felt like the Legion look would have been much better. Let's see from the back from Legion. I think Legion was much spot on. All right. Next up, Hayani. Now, this was one of the biggest shocks of the show because she was, in her first Olympia 5th. Last year, she was 4th and, dropping 3 spots to 7th, and Hayani has a very, her physique, when you look at her, it says wellness all over it. It is, I don't know. Sometimes it's just how it looks against others, I guess. And, the honor of Brazil, she won, and then she did Miami. I felt like it was good to get feedback, but I felt like the lineups kind of got tougher, but great physique, overall. But I definitely think that there was just something just really off. I think she kind of came a little washed in the abs. In her back pose, you kind of see something was just not there. She didn't have that pop like she did last year. Like this was this year. Here's last year. Like she's very full in her upper glutes versus, right here, she didn't look as full in her glutes. But Hayani from the back looks like Francielle's sister. And I definitely think that, she's going to just go back to the drawing board and definitely improve on some things and definitely come back much better than before, because she was on that track of going from fifth, fourth, and moving up in the spots. And I just feel like something just has to be different. And, her legs kind of got downsized over here. Like you see her much more confident here. She just has to refine her posing and how to make her body fit into that more wellness look. But I definitely think that this is just a little setback for her, and I don't think that's going to be I don't know, because she's such a beautiful girl. It's just I feel like, maybe have to do things a little differently than before. All right. Next up, we have Cass. So Cass has had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of second places this year, mostly to Lisa. She got third in Legions, but I just feel like she needs to just refine the physique, come in more tighter in the midsection. But this was good to get her into that top 10 spot. I feel like she just needs to, be careful of her shoulders because she grows very fast. She's a very good hyper responder. She did bring down her leg size because she used to be like quad dominant, where her quads used to like sweep out so much. But I definitely think a couple refinements she'll do better. Let me see her in Legion. But another thing is just how she's posing sometimes can really throw off her physique. She has a incredible physique. It's just how she poses really just doesn't really do her very well. And I just think maybe working with a posing coach who's specializing in wellness would really help her out. And I definitely think that that's something that can be fixed, and definitely something that she can do to refine her physique, because she carries a lot of muscle being as tall as she is. She's about 5'6", 5'5". So she's going to have more muscle than a lot of girls, and she's going to carry. So it's going to make her look somewhat figure-ish, but she's not figure. If she put her body into the wellness, she just needs to have her lower body be bigger than her upper body and not have her arms be too, or shoulders be too big. All right, next up. So after Hayani, it was Leo. So Leonida, she won the Arnold UK for wellness. She has a very athletic look to her physique, and I just think that she just needs to refine some things, and her traps kind of stand out. Just needs to be more tighter, and she's a great poser as well. I just feel like just having to kind of fit that mold in wellness. Definitely has to fix her hair because it's just too spread out. I just think she has to straighten it out, and obviously hand position. She does kind of look like she has an imbalance right here. Maybe it's just how she's posing, but her right leg looks bigger than her left. Let me see last year's Olympia. Yeah, she kind of has like a little imbalance in her legs, but it's just how she's posing kind of too wide. I definitely think that, what she brought in, she stopped doing that stallion pose in her presentation because it took too much time and it just didn't feel like it's something you can do. She tries to do things just to like minimize her waist because she is, a little wide waisted. I don't want to say blocky, but like a little more wide waisted. But I definitely think that there's just some things that she can do to minimize it. It's just like not train her upper body, definitely work on vacuums and do things differently. Maybe, get some adjustments. All right, next up, Alexis. So Alexis, last year she was 13th. This year she's 10th. I mean, I'm very happy for her to get in her first top 10. One thing about her that she stopped doing was pumping up her shoulders, because sometimes her shoulders would be so capped. Um, she's brought down her, she's bringing her waist in and getting very snatched, and she's fitting the Wellness mold. And she's not Brazilian, she's not Latina, but she's got very gifted genetics for the division. So here was her this year. This was last year. Pose is so much more better, and definitely bought a refined package. And I definitely think this was well deserved top 10 spot for her. Here you can see her and Hayani battling out. See how like her shoulders are much more bigger here. It's like they're capped. It's like standing out. Here it's not so much. See her from the back. Let me see back last year's. Yeah, she's much better conditioned this year. Obviously be careful of your shoulders. Hamstrings are pretty good. Much better. She's, full etched in. Here she wasn't so etched in. She kind of looked a little soft. Here she's very full, and it's very well put together for her. I just wanted to congratulate her on that. Next up, we have Bruna. Yeah. I can't help but say nothing but good things about Bruna. She works hard. She got fourth in the Arnold. It's after taking a year off. She wants to take her time into this. She wants to, do wellness in the right way. And being as young as she is and accomplishing as much as she is, she wants to be in a better position every year, just even so slightly. Even though she went from 8th to 10th to now 11th, I felt like this is one of her best years that she brought. Her package at Legion, I felt like was one of her best looks. Now, I don't mind the teal suit. I feel like blue and teal are her colors. But I felt like at this show, she was just a little too lean. And I know people say this a lot. She needs to bring up her legs, her leg sizes to match her glutes, because she has great glute genetics. She has long glute insertions. I just think she needs to fix up her hair. Just, have it all go straight versus having some in the front and some in the back. Just all straight here, just like at the Arnold. But yeah, I get it, because she has great glutes. It's just her legs have to just be just a little bit more in the quads here. And I definitely think that it would make a much stronger package. I definitely think she could be, top 5, top 7 eventually in the next couple of years. Just a little more time, and, obviously growing into the physique, because she's only 26 years old. So she still has time to grow. But see, I like this look here, although it was a little covering. But again, it's just, it's just a little more quads, just right here. It's just a little more, a little more abductor muscles. I definitely think that she can be in that column, but she did grow just ever so slightly, but she just needs more time. And that's what I feel like caused her to be 11th, was just someone had more muscle mass than she did. If you just compare her and Alexis. Alexis just has a little more muscle than she does. That's why. But no, she's a very beautiful girl, and I definitely think that Bruno's definitely going to keep getting better and keep growing every year, because this is a really good front pose for her. But I just think, more time, because when she's in that 30-year-old range, she's going to be at her stride, and she's going to be really tough to beat for many years to come. Next up, Lily in 12th. So Lily got qualified early last year's, and she did the Arnold Classic this year, and she got fifth. Yeah, Bruno was 4th, she was 5th. So I didn't have much information on her, and that's why I didn't have her in the top 10, because I just didn't know how she was going to look. But she's posing much better than before. I know this is a quarter turn. She looks a little much better, but when you turn her to the back, that's when you see the real good improvements, because she went from 14th and now it moved up 2 spots. So here's her back pose this year at this year's Olympia. Here's last year's. That is way improved. That is a whole layer of muscle right there. Now it's just, keep growing into that. And she definitely will be one of in the top spots. She's very comparable to a Bruna and an Issa. Kind of has that similar kind of a look to her. Smaller upper body, bigger lower body. It's just more time. It's just going to be, matter of when. And obviously, it's a tough lineup. So, kudos to her moving up 2 spots. I definitely think she can keep getting better from here. 13th, we had Marissa. Let me see if I had, I feel Marissa had just something, I don't know. Let me see her back pose. I felt like she was really strong in the back a little. It was just in the front kind of she lost. I don't want to say nothing bad. I feel like she kind of got she was just a little more wider. She is trying to bring down her waist to make her body fit into the wellness mold. I definitely think she's trying to get into that happy medium where she's not too big in her legs and not too small, and just kind of refining her physique. But, I know she was 7th and then she went from 9th and now to 13th. I don't think it's a bad year for her. I just think, obviously refining the physique more time. She's a great poser. I do not see Marissa going into figure or bikini. This wellness division is meant for her. This wellness division, she's built for that. And I definitely think that she's going to continue to improve and definitely, take her feedback from this show and see where to go about it. She's in school full time, and I'm happy that that she's continuing school and that she's not dropping out of school to be doing this full time, because this is just her hobby, and she's doing it very well. She's good at time management, and I definitely think that Marissa will be a top competitor and be a potential top 5 placing in a couple of years from now. But it's just now, refining the physique, being more competitive, and not letting this one show do bad, because this 13th place, it was justified because of how others placed before her. Next up, Danny Theo. She has a very unique physique where she's short torso, short legs, but she has crazy glute insertions. Now, I'm not a big fan. I'm not fond of this pink suit. I like the blue and the red suit that she wears. I know a lot of people are trying to be different because there's just so many reds, but this blue suit is so much better than this suit right here. She is posing much better here, and I just think she just needs a better suit color, a better fitting suit, because it does look like a little loose, and I'm kind of nervous of a wardrobe malfunction. And I remember Tyler saying something about her, and Empro saying how her bottom connectors were a little too low, and I felt like she did that just to make her body seem longer because she has a short torso. But she's got some great genetics for this division, and I definitely think that there's just some refinement can be done. So this is from last year. What I think she needs to do is not be so etched in and not, pinch her back so much. Also, I felt like, her hair could have been a little more cropped, and the suit could have been much better fit on her. But an overall great physique. I felt like she kind of lost because she kind of lost a spot. She was 13th last year, so actually no way, she was 12th last year. So she dropped 2 spots, but I felt like just a little focused on the hamstrings, and obviously being a little more tighter, she could have done better. Let's see her front. But yeah, I just feel like the blue suit's much better on her, and I would just stick with that. She has to also make sure that she's not too big in her delts, especially. But a great look, and phenomenal physique that she has. All right. Last but not least, we have Jade. I said that she was going to be the dark horse of this show. You know, I saw her win her pro debut in Spain, and we haven't seen her on stage since then. But seeing her do her presentation, I felt like she was a little nervous because it was her first Olympia, and she wasn't used to a lineup like this. And she's got some crazy genetics. I just feel like she needs to bring down her arm size, and be careful of how she's posing. Very comparable to some of the top girls, and I definitely think she would have been higher had she been more comfortable on stage. But one thing I would like to say is I do like her glam here, and you can look at her face and you can recognize it. But versus when she looked like in Spain, it was just the makeup was so bad in Spain. I was just looking at her red lips and like red suit. I mean, I like the red suit. If her red suit, or she had purple, I think when she was an amateur, that would have been much better with this hair. It was like too dark. It was just red. It's like you just look at her lips. You don't look. Her face didn't look as well put together. People say that she's a little blocky, but she just has a longer torso. But it's just how she's posing in her front that kind of throws off her physique. But it's just she needs to be more comfortable on stage and just be out there more than ever. In the back, I mean, this is very strong, especially against top girls. But obviously, fixing her hair, having her hair down and cropping it, and getting a better suit cut. And then again, once again, I do not like this pink on her at all. I just don't think pink's her color. I just think the red or the purple are much better. But with more experience and more time, she's going to definitely be a threat for many years to come. And I definitely think she could have been in that top 10 going to finals had she just been more comfortable. But I felt like she wanted to grow into the physique much better versus, keep doing shows back to back. But I definitely see Jade as a potential top tier Olympian in many years to come. As just getting more stage, getting in front of these judges on these stages. Obviously Becky judged her back in the Spain show in May, but I just think she needs to be more. She needs to have more. She needs to get into like in front of American judges. She needs to be in like an American just to say, okay, what do I look like against these top girls? What do I need to work on? Because I mean, this is really good. Placing in her first Olympia. Especially in her Olympia debut, and this is her first year as a pro. But I just think, like I said this about a lot of girls in this lineup, that they just needed more experience and more time. And definitely they're going to be great for many years to come. And I look forward to Wellness in many years. All right. So that's my recap on the top 15. I really enjoyed the show. I felt like there were things that some girls could have, worked on. And like I said about Jade and some of the other girls, they just need more time. And I feel like the direction of Wellness is headed to the more smaller girl, versus these too big up top, and they're not going to reward that. They're putting their foot down more than ever. When I saw that girl at North Americans who just looked like a women's physique competitor in Wellness, they were not going to award that because you have to have that, there's going to be that domino effect versus where one person starts something, everyone else is going to go to that. And I just hope Wellness does not push the envelope and it doesn't take a huge turn where it's going to be all about mass monsters. And it shouldn't be like that. It should be this attainable aesthetic look, based on a Brazilian body. But the hardest part I think about Wellness is, well, how do you keep up with someone who has gifted genetics like that, especially from Brazil? But we have our judges. They kind of, say things how they are. They'll tell you how it is. They'll say what they like, what they don't like, and they'll go from there. But thank you guys for listening. If you like this video, please subscribe. If you want me to keep posting more videos and talking about these shows, talking about shows even throughout the year, and if they're very interesting, they have good lineups, I will continue to do that. Also, we'll be doing Q&As where on my Instagram, Cruising the Bodybuilding World, I will leave a Q&A section where you can give me questions. I can give you answers, based on my experience in exercise science and my experience with coaching and training. And also, I plan on doing one-on-ones and doing interviews with some athletes in bikini and in Wellness if they're, if they want to get on. And I look forward to doing many things. I look forward to, growing the division. I definitely want to see these divisions do well. I definitely want to see Wellness in bikini do very well for many years. I definitely think that's going to be the direction. That's going to be the future of our industry. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and you guys have a good evening.